how is your campaign going as a first-time candidate?
What we have planned for the general election, this has been an entire campaign planned for the power. So presidential election was one stop for us, but the second hurdle that we knew this is going to come up, that was our plan. So we are executing as what we have planned, and we are seeing a very good interest from the people who did not vote us, because there were a lot of allegations against National People's Power which were not true, and people are realizing those were false allegations, and they also would like to know us and know our policies who may have not listened to us early. So I think it's a very interesting campaign. So we are actually talking more to the people who did not vote us, and I think there's a great enthusiasm. And I run from Kotte, even though I run for the entire Colombo district. We have a particular way of work in our party. So each of the candidates have their own areas to work on. So I've been working on Kotte and also my professional networks. It's quite interesting and good. Enjoying the first time attempt.
Right. So, why do you think there were a lot of abstentions during the previous presidential election?
Initially, people did not consider National People's have Power as an option. But then, very close to the election, during last 6 months, people realized that it also has the potential. But what people were unclear about the economic policies, what we are going to do, and people are not clear about the team, who's going to do. And there were a lot of allegations against us, which was propagated by the ruling party and the previous opposition SJB, saying that we would come into power and take over wealth of people. If you have two cars, we will government will take one. The IMF will run away, and there will be gas queues, and we don't have enough knowledge to manage the economy. And sometimes it was very bad in the sense that it went to the extent of temples, saying that NPP is anti-religious party, that we will get rid of religion after we come into power. So many allegations against us. I think people got scared, and even though we presented a good team, a good policy, clean political track record, people voted against us. So I think now things will change. I think the main reason was the campaign from the opposition. I think that is not no more there.
One of the major allegations that came your way just after the NPP government assumed power is that they are following Ranil Wickremesinghe's path. What do you have to say about that?
So actually, what is the path that was left open to us? We have a bankrupt country, we have a broken system, and we are in an IMF agreement. So we all knew what we have to face, and our mandate was to adhere to the agreements as a country has made. We can't deny it. So even 2 days before, the previous government has agreed on the bond restructuring as well. So there was very less room for us to negotiate, but to ensure that we keep this momentum going and getting the required facilities fast, ensuring Sri Lankan economic stability is established, and also to get that support so that we get the credit rating very soon for this country. So that is our main focus. So whether it was Ranil Wickremesinghe or whoever, this 1 or 2 months is about that. And I think we are very pragmatic in that sense. And also we do we did communicate to IMF our requirements, what are the changes we are looking for, and that's been discussed, which will be presented in the upcoming next year budget. So currently we have to work within the budget that was there, and this is a very much an interim government. We are not open to make substantial or drastical changes, because we have only 3 politicians running the entire country now. And we take this as a phase of stability, and when we have the people's mandate fully to implement the policies that we mentioned, we will act upon those things. So what people need to understand is what is the outcome of the country. Now it's running smoothly, businesses are flowing, investments are flowing, and there's lining up, and also the stock market is performing. Exchange rate has stabilized. Central bank is doing what it should do to ensure the monetary stability. I think so far what the government has taken as decisions are positive for the country.
Right. So another issue is with regards to the government workers' salaries. And recently, just 2 days ago, we saw there was a strike by the station masters. And here and there, people seem to be discussing whether the government is trying to take back what they said, and just all these promises were just mere election promises.
Actually, we are the only party who didn't give false promises. Every other one did. We very clearly said that we will take away the VAT of the essential goods and services, which will cost us 60 billion rupees, which we will adjust the pay taxes, which will cost us another 60 billion, altogether 120 billion rupees. That is for the next financial year, right? And it was Ranil Wickramasinghe who tried to give false promises, which is impossible to do, and tried to get the working the state sector worker vote, but he failed to do so. So actually, what he is claiming now is not true. What he's saying is he made a decision. Of course, he would have made a decision in the cabinet on his own, but no consent or allocation or enough funds are there in the treasury to give a salary increment at this point. So that is very clear. I think we've communicated, and I think people are very much aware of this change. What this change means, it is not a government change. It is not a changing a particular set of people and promising something fancy and coming to power. We proposed a system change. We proposed a reduction in unwanted expenditure, a different political culture. I think entire state sector is physically observing and feeling the difference of Harini Amarasurya, Andra Disanayaka and Vijitha Herath. I think this is what more important. I think media, the opposition media can take it to any state, but we will see during this election also how the state sector workers will vote. They are open for change. They need dignity. They need respect of the citizens, which they never had. So I think they are very much strongly supporting the current government.
I think the new government is also challenged with a lot of issues like this Easter Sunday saga that happened a few days ago, and then the security alert issued by on these bomb threats. So, were you all prepared for these kinds of events?
I think when you take on a responsibility of a state, you are open to every kind of vulnerabilities. May it come from your own community, it can come from outside. Some are controllable, some are uncontrollable. So the strength of this our team as politicians and strength of the state sector will be challenged, obviously. So these things we are very much equipped to handle, because we have put the right people at the right places. So even on the security threat, there are a lot of discussion whether it was a false alarm or alarm. Even I saw the ambassador also saying that it was something, it was not a travel ban. I mean, this is what news can create. And this particular incident, the intelligence were received by the government, and government was taking enough action, because as a government you can't again panic someone else without when there's no threat. So I think we have managed it very well. The other piece is that everything, every day you will have a problem. Every government will have that, and it's about how we manage, how we communicate, how we manage it better. So I think with a strong government going forward with 25 ministers, we will be able to do better than the last month.
Okay. So I think one of the biggest changes that this government would have seen is that a lot of known faces in the political arena, they said they would take a temporary break from politics. But there is an alternative theory or alternative statement being made that none of the parties should get 2/3 majority in parliament hereafter. What are your observations?
I think it's very funny sometimes, because people have been agreeing to the current constitution for so many years, and the people who have ruled has not made an honest attempt to change this, right? Now, just because alternative parties in power, the different discussions can be highlighted. We are also not seeking two-thirds. That's a reality. We are saying a strong, stable government for us to ensure that the policies that we implement, our budget to be passed, and the things, the legislature that needs to pass with simple majority. But in terms of getting the constitutional change and the major changes, we would work on a new constitution. There we would actually like, not only us, the opposition also be part of the change that Sri Lanka need, because it has been amended 21 times and it's all over the place. So I think for democracy's sake, there should be a strong opposition as well, but not at the cost of weakening the current government. So that's why we are saying the purpose of the citizens now is to give a strong mandate to the current president and the policies, because we did not got the majority mandate. So that's why we are fighting very hard. So I don't think anybody should be scared of it. People who are principally against our policies obviously can vote the other parties. But we are going for a very strong government and we think we can get that.
Okay. So just after the Aragale, many people rejected nepotism in the political arena. But people have started pointing fingers at you and your father, because your father is a long-standing NPP member. Yes. So what are your comments about it?
So I think this is a party decision, and nepotism in politics in Sri Lanka is known to be power transfer from father to son, father to daughter, husband to wife, and continuing down that stream. So my father did his politics in universities, and then he was a government servant, and then again joined in 2016 to NPP and did his role in the party. Similarly, I joined in 2019 and the party gave me a role and I have done it. So we are in two different responsibilities we are taking, and the party has decided there's no conflict by using both our knowledge in the transformation we want to know. I represent a particular set of knowledge and he has enough knowledge on public health and administration, and both of us has fought for what we believe in. It's not that because of my father I am in politics, neither he is in politics because of me. So therefore that old narrative does not, and actually it's up to us now to showcase and behave in a way that people will understand it's about people making change, and it's not about whether you're father or son. And traditional politics obviously we all rejected, because the son or the relatives came to power using the power they previously had. So we don't take that allegation as it comes, but I want people to understand two of us individually and make choices.
As a candidate from the Colombo district, what is the one thing you want to see changed in Colombo district?
So Colombo district, it's the education. Actually, I can't say one, there's so many, but two things I want to ensure that it happens is the education piece need to get standardized, because even we live in Colombo, the education standards from preschools to primary schools is very weak. And Colombo area, especially like Kotte where we live in, the drug issue is the biggest problem that's, dismantling the entire fabric of the society. So I think those two are very key things, not as individual, but as NPP we need to fix immediately.
Right. So finally, what is your message to voters?
So my message to voters is our generations have fought very hard to change this political culture. Here we have that opportunity to ensure that the people with public interest, people with capability, honesty and integrity is appointed now as officials or representatives. We have that opportunity. And now we do have a party who will ensure those individuals will work in a particular framework and a policy. So here we have NPP. Now if we make this significant change again with the upcoming election, the politics of this country is going to change forever. Why? Because in future, if somebody to better NPP, they have to be better than us. They have to bring a team who is more having more integrity and honesty than the NPP. They need to bring better policies which can grow Sri Lanka better than what NPP does. So what's going to happen now is Sri Lankan politics is going to change for entirety. So this what you did for Anura Disanayaka has ensured half of the previous parliament say back and home. And going forward, if you correctly pick NPP in the next election, it will ensure new political culture will be established and Sri Lanka will go forward, not backwards.